We have to talk about Arsenal Fan TV because, I mean, over the last however many years, going back years, it sort of exploded all over social media. Do you think the channel ever went too far with things they were saying?
Probably.
But was that the point?
That's what fans are. It's not the actual channel, is it? It's the fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know, I look back at sometimes. I look back at things that I've said, and I think, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have. A bit too harsh on Arsene Wenger when I look back on it. Felt very guilty about some of my things, but was only relaying what other people were saying in the pubs and whatever. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, it does. It can be controversial. But, you know, listen, it can be a good thing as well where, you know, I know, like, the players watch it. And
they do. They love, you know
what I mean? So, like, the younger ones particularly, like, you know. And I think it has, like, give fans a voice. I do believe that, like, you know, and I think COVID helped when there was no fans in the stadium and everything. Yeah. But I think, like, there was a time, I do believe that fans weren't being appreciated, you know what I mean? Like, you go to games, you know, like, I don't know, Newcastle away, we'd say Manchester City, Man United, you get stuffed and the players just walking straight off. You know what I mean? Like, but that, if you have a look at all the teams now, all the teams all come over and there's an appreciation. There's definitely a connection with Arsenal now that wasn't there for a few years ago. So I do think there's good and bad in everything, but ultimately, listen, you know,
the outcome has been good.
It's been good, like, you know.
I think it is, and I think it has changed actually. AFTV, I
think like 100%. There was a time. I think there was a meeting or something. I'm not saying that I wasn't in that meeting, but I'm saying it was.
You heard.
But I heard through the grapevine that look, we've got to just change a little bit. We're going to go a little bit more
diplomatic.
Yeah, that's a great word. Yeah. That's a great word. It was a little bit more, you know. Listen, you can't. I was in Singapore and Hong Kong on the tour, and I was speaking to the press, and they was going, "Oh, you know, you've got to be a little bit." And I said, "Hold on a minute. I'm not media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not going to do what I am a fan. So if as a fan, you're going to react differently to as a player and to the media. That's how it is. Like, you know, if Arsenal win, they're the best thing. And if they lose, I'm you know, they've ruined my weekend, and they've got to, you know.
You've got to have the both there. Like, you've got like, no fan is thinking they're the best team in the world after a win, but a fan does think like that.
Yeah,
but
then
also and it does affect,
think
you know,
the worst.
People spend a lot of money. You know, people often spend a lot of their money to go and watch their team play football on a weekend. So you should have the right, if it does go badly, to have...
Fans can just get carried away with both elements.
Of it,
Players aren't able to because there's another game.
Course.
There's another game, and that's the thing players need to understand.
And the brilliant thing about it is that when you talk to players, even ex-players and all that, they understand it. Yeah. They understand it that I'm going to have a go 1 week and then not the next. You know what I mean? Like Kevin, Kevin Campbell, I was great friends with. Like, God bless him. Like, you know, I still slag him off when he missed from 5 yards against Spurs in the Cup semi-final. Like, you know, I still blame him for that defeat. You know what I mean? But he accepted it. Like, do you know what I mean? I understand that because next week you're the hero.
Yeah.
And that's how it is with fans. And I think most of the fans, like, even with Mikel Arteta, like, you know what I mean, I've criticised Mikel Arteta, like, you know, of course I have, but when I see him, he always says hello.
He gets it.
They get it.
If he wins the league, he's the
best. He's the best thing since Arsene Wenger then and George Graham. I never liked George Graham. I'll be honest. I never liked George Graham, like, you know, because he got rid of Charlie Nicholas. You know what I mean? I didn't like that at the time. But when he won the league, he was all forgiven, George. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's how it is, you know, and he become, like, fantastic after that. So I do think that there is that sort of element to it and all that. But listen, I didn't realise how big AFTV was until you're in it and realise how big it is. You know, like, wherever I go now, around the world or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
everyone
people come up to
it.
you and want to talk to you about it, you know, and it is mad. It is mad.
And just finally, Lee, obviously we've spoken about, you know, managers winning things, and you know that Arsenal haven't won a league title for a while and way longer for a club as big as Arsenal. Do you feel like Mikel Arteta is the man to deliver you that first Premier League trophy for over 20 years?
I do. I genuinely do. Like, you know, as I said earlier on, there was a time when and I think this is a strange thing, is that, you know, like people still bring it up 4 or 5 years later. You wanted him out 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, we weren't winning games of football. Like, we was losing every single time we was at home and everything like that. I didn't see the view. I actually thought that club chose Mikel Arteta on the cheap. You know, you get someone in cheap because, you know, I was wrong. You know what I mean? They see this vision of what he was doing and whatever. Listen, I go to games. I used to go to games like Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, hoping we wouldn't get beat 3 or 4-0. Like, you know, now I go to those grounds thinking, coming away disappointed if we'd drawn, disappointed we come and drew at Chelsea. Like, I've been at Chelsea and we lost 6-0. You know what I mean? Like,
that was a great game.
So, not really. You know what I mean? Like, but all those sort of things. So now you go to games and you think, like, oh, we can win. We can, you know. And he's instilled that in us as a club. The other thing that I think that he has to get credit for, going back through years and years ago, if I was on the M25 and all the players were on the other side of the road, right, I would dodge. I'd risk my life to get over there to say hello to them, you know what I mean? Like, blah, 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 shake their hands. There was a time, if they was in my back garden, I'd have drawn the curtains. You know what I mean? Like, I would have done. Yeah. But now, I'm back on the M25 trying to dodge to get over to them, like, you know? That's what they've done. They've brought that connection back. And it's a big, big thing, you know what I mean? When you, horrible to say that there was certain players at Arsenal I didn't really like. You know what I mean? But you're going here week in. So Mikel's done that. He's brought the whole thing. The atmosphere at the Emirates now is a privilege to be in there. Sometimes I actually think I'm blessed to be in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, how the players are feeling and all that. And so he's done that. He has got to get us over the line this season, though. I have to say that, because there's going to be a conversation. Well, if you can't get us over the line when you're the best team in it,
yeah, but I just think if it's City. If it's Chelsea,
there has to be a moment. It doesn't matter who.
Yeah, of course. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who. There has to be a recognition of what that other team is. But like, if Chelsea win the league before Arsenal, 100%.
Yeah, I get that.
But
if it's a little bit of Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, I get that. But Liverpool still have the same team. Yeah, but it's still the same manager and one of the greatest strikers we've seen. So there still is a lot of the same.
I think this is their best shot.
I do that. But when you're saying if he doesn't get it over, there's question marks. I'm like,
there is question. There will always be question marks.
Nah, not if it's a Man City.
I'm not saying. Say if they went on and won the FA Cup and the League Cup this season, and they didn't win any other things, I don't think there's that much of a conversation.
But if
you win nothing, I think if you win nothing this season,
I agree with that.
I think that, you know, you've got to be looking and going, come on. And I do look at him this season. I do think what you said earlier on, he has like calmed down a little bit. There does seem a little bit like
it becomes more normal. The results, like the performances and the games and results that he's seen, aren't as surprising. So your emotional connection and understanding will simmer down, because it's like, I expect my team to beat Newcastle with 10 minutes to go, and he's not gonna be as shocked. Like when it's new, you have to. There's a reaction to that, but now it's like, no. And
I do think that he's improving the team. I know that sounds silly, like, you know what I mean? I do think we're getting better. Like, you have a look at the players that, you know, Declan Rice is a better player than what he was when he first came. There's no disrespect to him at West Ham or whatever, like, you know, Timber has got better and better. Calafiori this season has been, it's an incredible turnaround how good he's got, like, you know what I mean? So he's improving players. Trossard's got better as he's got older.
Gabriel. Saliba was the man, and now it's
Gabriel's got better, you know. Raya, you know, that was a
question mark
decision, like, you know what I mean? Massive decision. You know, Ramsdale, I didn't think was doing anything wrong, you know what I mean? And but that's a big move, and he got that right, you know, and you just think like, I didn't agree with you, but you're right again. So he keeps proving people wrong. What he's got to do now is just get it over the line. And if he gets it over the line, I do think that we could go on and win a few other things. Maybe something that we need to win as well later down the line.
I don't know about that, Lee. I don't know about that.